which is funny. Not the ghost hunting field, the construction field. Completely different. So anyway, how's life?
It's wrong one. Both of us did all
Today's gonna be the day.
Today's gonna be the day that they're gonna come back to
it's
you. Hi, Meg.
His face had an even more fearful expression than Mason and Kieran.
Is no one gonna finish Wonderwall?
Oh.
I don't know the rest of Wonderwall.
I'm sad.
You don't know the rest of Wonderwall?
Today's gonna be the day that they're gonna throw it back to you. By now, you should have somehow realized what you gotta do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now.
My dad's singing it too. Wonderwall! Cause baby, you're gonna be the one to save me.
That I had a job.
And after all, you're my Wonderwall.
Yeah, love Wonderwall.
Anybody streaming? DMCA, DMCA.
I go to the fucking grave.
Oh.
So sorry.
I am, but it's okay. They know.
Roz's stream is gonna get muted because we sound so good.
It's fine. I'm just eating for now.
Imagine eating.
Eating and watching.
Right in there, Jamie.
Couldn't
Right
be
in
me.
there.
Wouldn't be me.
Yeah.
Right in there, Jamie. Right in there.
Club, if you do that one more time, I swear to God.
Right in there, Jamie. Right in there.
I'm fucking sorry.
Sorry?
I'm fucking sorry.
Mhm.
It was posted, Peter.
I fucking called it again. I called it again.
Guys, stop voting just because I'm yelling.
Peter, I
I'm
hate
mauling
you so much.
As a first time player, I'm actually mauling right now.
Alright,
Ascara, run away.
Oh.
I also
Because there's like fights for who was not at lights besides Scara. Can anyone
He's pretty good.
for him after that?
Yeah, you know
Scarra?
what, Cyan? I'm with you. I didn't see
You
Scar
kick
either.
butt.
Vote him out.
Wait, let him defend himself. Took the wires on the left and went back over to the vending machine. And then I went down to the left, and then I went back up. You made it now, and then the body got reported.
What? How could you have done all?
Did I spell that right?
Oh no!
I spelled it right.
No.
where's the
Imagine
body?
spelling.
It is on the bottom left. Defend himself. Let him actually.
Happy to I like. Oh.
Bought it pretty early in the game, and it's kind of
She's
weird.
like, bitch, what do you
Normally,
want?
if there's no eject
Leave me
confirmations, I like
alone.
playing
Hey, Roz,
a
truth or
little
dare?
safer. But you know
Truth.
what? The new girl Cyan, she is out for
Pussy.
blood, and I am happy to oblige.
What?
You should have picked dare.
Why?
Because you shouldn't be a pussy.
Well, I am.
I'm gonna go say hi to Mage real quick.
Oh, I wanna hold on. I wanna say hi to Mage too. I haven't talked to Mage in a while.
I just. Oh.
It's okay. I already said hi to Pebbles.
Alright, anyway, you should have picked dare.
Well, sorry.
Well,
What would
Just
you,
for
what would
that?
you have dared?
just for that, I am not watching your stream.
Damn.
I'm gonna watch Cottontail instead.
You and the rest of the world.
She's doing ASMR. Oh, my Lanta.
What information?
No.
It's
Hey, but
Why are you?
How did?
You did not tell me that was
Ba-ba-da,
out of a
ba-ba-da,
random without killing
ba-ba-da,
anyone?
ba-ba-da, ba-ba-da.
Ooh, free win.
It's not. Oh, that's funny.
I can't
I'm
watch
just
this
gonna-
anymore. I
I'm
feel the
gonna
brain rot.
complete my
Oh god, help me.
Fine, I'm watching Old Toast while eating.
Fair enough.
Wait, who it was
Dude,
Tina?
I've been up for way too freaking long.
That's
Dude.
so funny.
Oh my god.
Toast, you bastard. You knew it wasn't me.
Is it normal to be awake for like
toast and
close to 48 hours?
No.
Oh. Well, how about
What?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't know what I was
will.
gonna say. You will what?
Eat my veggies.
Yeah, you eat those fucking veggies.
Only because I got a good fiance telling me to do so.
Fair enough.
She just said I keep trying to die before her. Well, she's right.
I
think
mean,
there's less
same
painful
though.
ways to go.
Maybe gonna be the one that they met. Oh, you may wonder.
Are they not coming back?
What?
I was like, are they not coming back?
Oh, I don't know.
No, that's fine. I'm cool.
They just left me. I thought we were having a chat, man. Like, what the hell? Bullshit. I'm just gonna go
well,
to
there
bed.
goes,
Fuck this.
there goes Cassie. Cassie's gone. Didn't even say bye.
Rest in peace. I might just go to bed, honestly. Fuck my life.
We've been up for that long, you should.
Fine. Good night, Razzle.
Good
Have
night.
good stream. Have fun playing Fallout 4 or whatever.
Not playing, but
Have fun
thanks.
doing game dev stuff.
I'll try.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
And adorable young couples, apparently. And just like that, we were waved into the next seat. We sat ourselves down, and moments later, the great wheel began to groan and protest, and finally, it turned. It dragged our cart around its underside and lifted it up to the top of its crest, where we could see the whole city at twilight. And the ships in the harbor that were backlit red, and the setting sun, and the clouds that were lined at their tops with just a little bit of starlight. Robin snuggled up next to me and put her head on my shoulder, and I put my arm around her waist. For a moment, I could have sworn the empty seat in front of us moved on its own. I furrowed my brow, but Robin spoke. "Thank you for being here with me," she said. I didn't respond with words. I just kissed her on the head and held her tight as the wheel began to take us. "Down on the 1800 block of Gardasdale," one of the EMTs said. "Yeah, another one. I know. Hell of a fucking night, isn't it?" The conversation's muffled again and short, and drifting in and out, but the jostling of the room and the sound of an engine tell me that I'm still in the ambulance. The other paramedics, for their part, continue running tests and checking my vitals, and as they work, I try to remember what happened.
Hey, Alex.
It hurts. Damn it, does it hurt. Almost as much as that rushing heat. And the effort is further disrupted when the ambulance hits a bump in the road, and I nearly spill out of my gurney, but Rachel puts her steady hand on my chest and says, "Hang in there, Brian. We're almost... there!" Robin pointed at the interstate ramp, and I took the turn.
I
Put
think
St.
I
Thomas
might
Venue
should
the
leave
way
on
we
that
usually
note.
Oh, I see
I
how it is.
cannot believe Mason got married.
No, I just said something
You
really
guys
bad.
beefing?
No, we're not beefing.
They're in love.
Yeah.
I wanted to say Adam.
And they hardly know each other.
I don't think
We
we're
don't know
beefing.
if
We
whether their
beefing?
feeling is
Are we?
genuine, lifelong love,
No?
or just
Fight,
new
fight,
relationship.
fight.
Maybe we are.
Pixel, I heard
No.
Razzle
Ones that
call
haven't worn
you
off yet.
cringe.
I guarantee it.
Razzle,
Not
I
with
heard
money
Pixel
on it.
call
He'll
you
be done within a year.
a
Just watch.
loser.
You don't
Fight,
know that,
fight, fight,
she said.
fight.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Buzz,
but
did you
we
call
talk
me
about that all the
cringe?
time.
Because that's
And she added,
God damn it.
you know,
I
we've
feel
been
like
dating
feel
for
like
2 years.
I feel like I definitely am cringy in
so?
a lot of ways.
So?
No, if I did,
Alright,
you
what
would
the
have heard
fuck?
me
This
say it.
isn't.
Yeah. I shrugged. I
This
don't
the
know.
game doesn't
Grim.
work
Didn't
if
really
you
thought
guys
about it.
are both like.
I never really
Grim.
thought about it.
And Grim, I
Yeah.
think the
No?
caffeine is showing, by
I
the
mean,
way.
of course, I thought about it.
It's 4 a.m., bro. I'm
I
cooked.
I don't know if we're ready,
GG's.
you know? Like,
The caffeine is
Look,
hard
Grim,
showing. You have not stopped
she just
talking.
stared out there at the rain.
I
You
with
have
the
not
sun in her
stopped
palm.
talking. Like you have not like
An
taken a
hour? 2
breather.
hours ago.
You have not stopped like
Let's think about it like this.
You have not took a breather for like
Hey guys.
Prepare their
a
whole lives
minute,
for
a good
jobs,
minute.
right?
Pixel,
They start
Yes,
going to
Basil.
school as soon as they
I
can talk.
wouldn't recommend
They're
taking
not done till
660
they're in their
milligrams of
20s,
caffeine
and it's
at
also
like
Yeah.
1 a.m.
Why not?
So
Wouldn't
that
recommend
is what
it.
we call stupid, and I would like you to know, I would have never thought that was a good idea, and the whatever reason
So
you decided to do that
stayed
was
awake for
demented.
30 hours once, man. You stayed awake for 30 hours once while you had to
Yeah.
go to like somewhere next day. I don't think you can
Yeah.
tell me what's
Okay.
stupid or
So
not.
first off, I did that with no caffeine because I don't drink any caffeine. Because I have willpower and awesomeness on my side. And secondly,
He's a man. He's a
I'm
man.
a man. I'm a real man. I'm a real man. Doesn't take
Yeah.
caffeine. I don't need none of them drugs.
As we've
I woke
discussed,
up and I
I
went
am
to
a
church on
terrible
that
man.
Sunday, and I sat there and I worshiped the Lord. That's what I did on that Sunday after not
What is
sleeping
happening?
for 30 hours. That was me.
We're all
Anyway,
cooked.
what were you
Russell,
talking
that's
about?
what's happening. That we're all cooked.
Are we all cooked? I'm honestly just procrastinating all my
me
homework.
And Pebbles.
I'm just trying
Me
to
and
find an
Pebble are
excuse
just like
to
sitting
leave
here.
on a funny note. I'm sorry, guys.
Me and Pebbles have had to deal.
I have coding
Pebbles
homework I
had
gotta do.
We've been doing
to
this
do your
thing where
work.
we stand in VC for like the whole day.
Yeah.
That's. Mm. Be
Pebbles
sure
and
to
Hannah
socialize
had
with
to
other
deal with
people.
me.
You know.
This is my socialization.
You know that's fair.
If other people want to join, they can join. Yeah, I'm not gonna fucking insert myself in things.
Well, fair enough. I am gonna
It's a public
go
VC.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. I'm gonna go do coding homework, guys. It was
No,
fun
you're
talking
not.
to you. Bye, Roz. I'm sorry I didn't really
Bye.
hang out. I'm not really here to
See you,
play
Bob.
games though. Sorry. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Nice talking to you. Alright, let's go make fun of him while he's gone.
You do that.
You
I'm
guys-
robot eating.
Do you guys talk about me while I'm not there?
Yeah.
Not really.
Oh no.
I think the only time that I talked about you genuinely it was like yesterday. I was commenting to Pebbles. I was like, mm, I was naming out people who I think they are friends, and I was like, I named you and a couple others.
Let's go. I'm the goated. I'm goated. I'm
I was
gonna
just
pee.
having
I haven't peed in like 4
episodes.
hours.
Go
I
pee.
love having episodes. Oh, my sister's awake.
They can get a jump off a cliff with me type of adventure. Come on, Robin. We're not writing up a damn dating website profile here. This is real life. There are kids involved, and finances and house buying and mortgages and all that shit. Not every day is some cute little romantic comedy. Okay,
Here, let me add the fuel.
half your
You
life
should
we're
not be
talking
awake
about.
at 3 a.m.
2/3 even. Okay, all I mean is that
4 a.m.
you have to be
All right,
prepared
I'm
for
gonna
it.
go stream games
I
after
thought
this.
we were prepared. What do you mean?
Bye bye.
Fine.
She dug through her purse for a moment, then held up a ring that was brilliant, even when covered in the rain. I felt my heart skip at least a full beat. Is that, It was my mom's, she said. She gave it to me before she died. She said, find your partner in crime, Robin. Find someone who will sweep you off your feet and just jump off a cliff with you. There was a pause before she added, and at the time she said it, I thought I knew exactly who that person was. I tried for a moment, but I knew, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that there was no combination of words in the English language that could be strung together to write this ship. Goodbye, Brian. She kisses me on the cheek. I rub the back of her hand on it. And then she turned and got her new Civic. And drove off until I couldn't see her taillights at all. Train's coming down hard, boys, another EMT said. Careful when you unload him. There were grunts of acknowledgement, and the back of the ambulance flew open, and the sound of the storm utterly exploded into it. I felt the rush of wind, the rain pelting my skin in sheets, and together they helped a bit with the oncoming heat that still I couldn't place. And I felt movement. The gurney dipped and hit pavement while the paramedics held me down, and then there were shouts and lights and running feet. And then the hospital door. Open! I shouted. The man behind the counter shot me a look, but I shouted it again over the sound of rain falling through the glass. I said, are you open? Then he pointed at the sign saying the opposite and went back to reading. But I wasn't taking no for an answer. I dug out my wallet, I pulled a 20 from the fold, and I slapped it flat up against the glass. Within seconds, the paper was soaked with rainwater, but it got his attention. He rolled his eyes. The door clicked. Make it quick, man. I know, I will. Thank you so much. I ran down the aisle and then, true to my word, made it back to the counter in less than a minute. The man put down his book, processed the sale. The date night, he said, as he bagged the card and the flowers. I smiled a bit. Something like that. And then I thanked him. He ran back out to my car and got inside. I took out the card and scribbled on the inner sleeve the words, jump off a cliff. With me! A doctor running alongside the cart motioned to some nurses in the hall, and they ran to follow. He turned to the EMTs. You stable? He's slipping, heart rate's falling, breathing slowly. Not good. Mumbled something about being too hot earlier, but if anything, his temperature's too low. Somebody showed the doctor a chart. He reads it as he runs, and his face is grim. Shit. All right, he says, let's move! I shouted at the car I'm passing. Just a little rain, you assholes! It wasn't. It was a lot of rain. Sheets and buckets and torrents of it. In fact, it's long since turned the dirt to mud, and it swept up against my windshield like ocean surf, and the road was slick with little rivers of it that ran down past the pebbles. I was going far, far too fast for such conditions, but I didn't care about that, the doctor said. I just want to get his fluids up, Rachel. The woman from the ambulance runs up beside and discusses my condition in harsh whispers with the doctor. As I fade, and as the damn heat floods on back, it becomes impossible to hear what they're saying, but it's abundantly clear in the body language. She hasn't yet given up. Hope for a reunion with these guys? Well, Bolin and Snake say they're against it entirely, so that doesn't bode well. But on the other hand, Sebastian said on multiple occasions that he's willing to do it for the fans. And look what happened with Guns N' Roses. A few years ago, nobody would have thought they'd get back. I switched off the radio, and then wrapped both hands around the wheel with such force the knuckles turned white on the grip. The car hit 70 miles per hour, 75, 79. The windshield wipers were flying, but they weren't going fast enough. Fuck! I slammed my foot on the brakes as the lights of activity in the road came in and out of nowhere from the rain. The car jolted and shuddered and fought for traction with the pavement. And I felt the tires squeal and the metal of the car grind. Protest! I don't care if he wants to protest, the doctor snapped back. You tell him to wait in the damn lobby like everyone else. The nurse accepts her orders and heads out to the hallway. I'm sorry, sir, she says. You can't see him until... Until what? That's my son in there! That's my son! That's... And then there's a scuffle of feet. And more shouts as security guards drag my father from the wing. Rachel pauses as she hears the sounds, and then her eyes well up a bit, with tears. She looks at my face and appears to recognize something, but doesn't say what. The shouts continue. They fade. So do I. And in comes the heat as I do. That's my son! My dad says. That's my boy! Let me see my boy! Stop, please! Stop! The police officer had both hands up as my car barreled towards him. Stop! Stop the car! Finally, there was a jolt and a shudder as the tires gained control at last, and the car slammed to a halt. Both the officer and I sighed in relief, and then he approached my window and tapped the glass with his knuckles. I lowered it. I shouted over the rain, I'm sorry, sir. The roads are crazy out here, you know? He ignored the question. I'm gonna need you to sit here for a bit, okay? He said. Just until the accident's cleared up. Accident? It's bad. He nodded in the direction of the wreckage. Then he said again, just sit tight. We'll wave you over when there's an open lane. Then he ran off into the storm. I scanned the scene. There was a man on the side of the road. I saw it. He was sitting on the pavement with a poncho for the rainfall. His head in his hands. His SUV was totaled. Front end was bent, twisted, hideously mangled. The other car was far, far worse shape than that. I squinted hard. I could only make out the panels of white with charred black chunks of metal. The force of the rain. It was enough. It was a Civic. Oh God, no, I got out of the car and I left the door hanging open in the rain, and then I ran forward, at least until the officer caught sight of me and ran back over and grabbed me by the shoulder. Hey, he said, I told you to wait in your car. What are you, Robin? I shouted over him. Robin! I saw it. A fleeting glimpse of movement. A white sheet flipped on a gurney. A strand of red hair fell from the right side and hung there as the EMTs carted away the body. Robin! I shouted. That's my girl! The officer was confused and stunned and did the only thing that he could think to do. Drag me back to my car. No! Stop! I was inconsolable, but in no shape at all to resist. Stop, please! That's my girl! Let me see my girl! Please stop! One of the EMTs, covered in blood from the waist up, turned to look at the spectacle. Then someone shouted at her. Rachel! The doctor said, you with us or what? Let's go! She blinks as she stares at me and says, yeah, sorry, I just realized the guy was... Get the charcoal, please. We don't have time. Yeah, she does. She runs off to fetch exactly that. And I feel a hideously invasive sensation being placed in my nose, and then I feel it falling down into my throat. Too weak to gag, but I somehow manage to clench my fist. A nurse sees the movement and holds me down to steady me. Whoa, you okay, man? My roommate stumbled back as I threw open the door. I charged past him. You coming in hot? He said again, good, bro? But I ignored him. I went to the bathroom. I leaned up against the sink for a long moment. I grabbed my temples. I set my jaw. I sobbed without a sound. Aching, racking, heaving sobs. I heard a knock. Hey, man, he said. You good, dude? Anything I can get you? Like, you're fine. I wasn't convinced in the slightest, but I didn't care. I opened up my phone. There was a text from Robin there. One from this morning. Read, I love you. And they were, all at once, the most beautiful and the most painful words that I'd ever read. I love you. I love you too. Alright, hang on, baby, I'm coming. And then I backed out. And I found my dad in my contacts list, and I typed, I love you, Dad. Moments later, I got a response, I love you too, son, you okay? But I ignored it, and then I threw open the cupboard, and I grabbed an old bottle of pills, a nurse said. Swallowed the whole damn thing. Lucky his roommate called it in when he did. But the doctor is incredulous. Well, that remains to be seen now, doesn't it? Then he turns to the door. Rach? She pushes it open with her elbow before he finishes. I got it, I'm here. All right, he says. Fingers crossed, people. Let's see if we can save a psycho. There are isolated chuckles. Rachel, though, almost snaps at her superior for the insult. But then someone says, here we go. Then there's thick, wretched black stuff funneled down the tube and down into my throat. I'm almost desperate enough, but not quite strong enough to resist it. I can feel it sliding and hitting bottom and pumping and pulsing. My heart rate is erratic. My breathing is erratic. My ability to comprehend the situation is every bit as erratic. I struggle as much as I can against the restraints, but all of my effort and all of my strength are not more than the faintest whimper. Rachel hears it. She moves to my side, she holds my head and says in a soft enough whisper that only I can hear the words, don't follow her, Brian. Don't follow her. Please, Jesus. I need him here. I need this win. But I begin to fade all the same. One by one, as the spikes in the EKG show the sporadic pulses, I see the nurses turn to each other and shake their heads, one by one. That is, until there's only a trembling Rachel there. She's holding on for me tight enough for everyone in the room. Call it, the doctor says, just as the darkness swirls in and I feel like I'm starting to fade away. Conversation carries on as I pass. 2:32 a.m., one of the nurses says. But I can hear Rachel screaming in protest. No! He's not gone! There's still time! There's still time to save him! There's still... But she's wrong. I'm already gone. Her voice. And her face. Those things are behind me as I pass. They're fading away into the darkness that's consuming me and swallowing me whole, and throwing me into the winds. And just when the magnitude of the situation dawns on me, then comes the heat. There are monstrous amounts of it. It rips, and it tears, and it scorches, and it scalds, and had I the ability to scream out or even to breathe, I would have done so until my throat was hoarse. But then there's a new pain, a different pain. A hand reaches out of the blackness and it grabs my left side forearm with such mighty force that the resulting pain eclipses that of the heat, and the nails of that hand rip right through the flesh, and then I'm being pulled, and there's a rushing wind. It's cold and refreshing and beautiful, and suddenly I'm somewhere else entirely. Blink. The darkness was gone, and the heat was gone with it. That sensation of being devoured. Instead, those things had been replaced with starlit clouds as far off in every direction as the eye could see, but my arms stung like hell all the same. I looked at it. There were nail marks, I saw. 4 deep cuts beneath the inner wrist and a 5th on the side, in the shape of a hand. They bled a bit, and then I heard an all too familiar voice. You okay? I stood up slowly and I turned, holding my damn stinging arm while I did it. He said, Robin? Robin? What was that? That darkness, the heat, and the... It's where you would have spent eternity, Brian, had I not pulled you out. I had no words other than the weakest thanks. You know, she said, holding her arm. Suicide's not exactly what I meant by jumping off a cliff. I blinked again and took a long, deep breath. Yeah, I guess I didn't think things through. I'm not sure you finally realize how much of an understatement that is. Well, maybe I don't. But you know what? I'd do it again, Robin. I'm serious. She nearly rolled her eyes, but I doubled down on the statement. I said, out there on the street, I'm sorry. I mean it, I'm sorry. You were right. Love isn't about taxes or headaches or just tolerating each other until we're 70. It's like your mom said, it's about sweeping your girl off her feet. It's about jumping over cliffs with someone and not knowing where you'll land, not caring. As long as you get there together. And if this is where we land, wherever this is, I'm okay with that. And I leaned in for a kiss. But she stopped me with her hand before it landed. And I opened my eyes. I can tell you've been working on that speech for a while, she said. Over and over in my head, in the car, until I got to the scene of the wreck. I looked at the ground and then back up at her. And I realized right then that if you fucking left Earth itself, then I would too. So here I was wrong too. She cut me off. What do you mean? About love. It was wrong. My mother was wrong. It's not just about crap you see in rom-coms and getting greeting cards, Brian. Again, I blinked. I know that. I I know it's something that you feel in your heart, that defies logic and reason, not something that you can put on a spreadsheet like you said earlier. She sighed a bit and said, "Can I show you something?" Yeah, I guess so, sure. And then she took my hand and infinitely rolled in and faded back out. All of a sudden, we were somewhere else entirely. Were we? On the Ferris wheel? Yeah. Turn around. I did. And there we were. Past Robin and past me on the seat above and behind us. I remember it like yesterday. We were staring out the whole city at twilight, and the ships in the harbor that were backlit red with the setting sun, and the clouds that were lined to their tops with just a little bit of starlight. I rustled in my seat a bit, and it moved. Past me, saw it, and looked like he was about to speak, but before he did, past Robin said, "Thank you for being here with me." Got a kiss on the head. "What do you see?" Robin said. "Us. A year ago and some change. I remember that day like it was yesterday. Your mom had just died, so I took you here to get your mind off things." "You did." "That was the first day in months I'd felt truly safe, truly at peace. That was love." "Yeah, I know it was. I still love you, just this. It's a kind of love," she said, cutting me off. "And it's absolutely beautiful when it lasts. But can I show you something else?" Okay, yeah. She took my hand again, and again, infinity itself rolled in and out like the tide, and then we were somewhere else. The hospital, it looked like. St. Joseph's. "What do you see?" I looked around. Nurses running up and down the halls, doctors reviewing notes and talking to their patients. "I don't know, a hospital." She nodded in the direction of a particular room. "Look in there." So I did. There was a woman on the cot. She was emaciated, hairless, deathly frail, and the doctor inside was shutting off the last of the machines. "A dying woman," he said. "Looks like cancer." "Yeah." "What about there?" I looked down. There was a nurse crouched down in front of the same door, talking to a girl, 8 or 9 years old. If I had to guess, in silly voices, the girl had been crying, but the nurse managed to make her smile a bit, even as her mother died on the other side of the door. Looks like a nurse comforting a little girl. "That's right," Robin said. "And that little girl will remember that nurse for the rest of her life, and even if they never met again, so much as exchange names. As the lady who came into her life in the darkest hour and made her smile." She turned to me. "That's love too. Just as beautiful and just as precious as what we had." "What's your point?" She didn't answer. She just stuck out her hand with a sad smile, and I took it. Infinity faded in and back out a third time, and then we were in the waiting room. "See that?" Robin pointed to the corner of the room, and I squinted. "Hey, what's Dylan doing here?" "He called the ambulance when you didn't come out of the bathroom," she said. "He knew something was wrong. And when they drove you off, he followed them here. He's been standing there ever since, asking for information on you every time a nurse walks by. He's starting to annoy them." I watched my roommate for a bit, and sure enough, he grabbed the nurse, asked her a question that I couldn't hear. She said something pleasantly dismissive, and he nodded, and leaned his head back against the wall and closed his eyes. Wow. I had no idea that he cared that much. It's love too, Brian. Did you do the same for him? But she held out her hand again before I could answer, and took it for a 4th time. And infinity blinked. And then I was in the emergency room, looking down on myself. I was covered in vomit from the charcoal and the pills, but I was still, too. Deathly still. Most of the nurses and doctors were still walking out the door, but Rachel wasn't. She was crying openly now and making no effort to hide it. She reached for something, a needle. Looked like a syringe. What's she doing? You'll see soon enough, Robin said. But that there? That's also love. She held out her hand and once again said, one more time. And I took it. And then we were in the parking lot, the same place. The rain was coming down harder than ever. Turn around, Robin said. And I did. And then I stopped. There were no words. It was my father in his car. He was holding up a Bible to his chest with both hands, and he was crying in a way no child should ever have to see their father cry. And that there, Robin said, that's the kind of love that can move mountains. Put my hand up against his window. He didn't seem to notice. He can't see you, Brian. Not from there. I wiped my eyes to the back of my hand. Okay. I get it. Okay, I fucked up. And then she released my hand. And all of a sudden we were back in the clouds again under the stars, and I wiped away a tear before it fell. So, now what? It's too late for me to go back down there. I'm already gone. Robin took another step forward and said, maybe not. And she put her hand on my temple, and my eyes rolled back, and then I saw it. Rachel and I on a bench, our child is playing out in the surf, the sun hits her hair just right, and for a moment, it's made of gold. And then the image fades, and another one takes its place, a birthday party. I have silver hair at my temples, Rachel does too, but it doesn't matter. Our little girl is turning 10. And then that image fades too, and it's replaced by another and another and another, and everyone yields another moment where someone loved someone else enough for it to break through the clouds and be seen forever, even if that moment itself lasts only for a heartbeat. And finally, there's an image of Rachel and myself on a porch as old as we are. She holds my hand and says, I'm glad you didn't follow her. And I say back, me too. And I kiss her on the head. And then Robin pulls back her hand. And there we are again, standing out there in the clouds together. How did you do that? Yeah, she shrugged. Time has nearly no meaning in this place. We've been here for a while, Brian. And yet the doctors haven't even left your operating room. Don't think too much about it. Hey, just think about what you want. That, I said. Was that my future? She shrugged again. Could be. I don't know what you saw. And I don't need to know. Is it enough? I nodded. She stepped forward again and said, go get it. I miss you too damn much. Well, there's nothing wrong with missing someone, she said. That just means that love lasted a little longer than what ignited it. So go ahead, miss me. You owe me that much. Feel the loss, stand up to the storm like a man and memorize the pain, and learn it inside and out. Let it roll over you in waves and run its course, and then one day, you'll wake up and you realize you have scar tissue where the skin used to be, and you'll be stronger than the grief ever was. I can tell you've been working on that speech for a while. Like I said, I've been here for a while. And then she kissed me. One last time. And for the briefest moment, all the little scars and cuts and scrapes and nicks in my heart were filled up and made whole. And she said, you're made of the stars, kid. Now go light up the world. And then she was gone, Rachel, okay? I'm not gonna tell you again. But I shot up right before the doctor could finish the thought. And I gasped for air. When I did, I grabbed at my chest with more strength than I had in hours. There was a needle in it, a bolt of life in the heart. And Rachel broke down in tears when she saw me. I'll be damned, the doctor said. Welcome back to the land of the living, son. And Rachel? She turned around. Good work, kid. You made me proud. And then he left. She turned back to me and tried to hide a smile. Hey there. How are you feeling? That's better than dead. There was a pause before I added, and hey, I'm glad you got your win. She took my hand and squeezed it. And for a moment, she paused when she saw a scar below the wrist that looked like the result of fingernails, grabbing through flesh. But then she dismissed it and said, I am too. And you'll get yours, okay? I promise you will. I know, I said. And with that, she got up and left the room. She went to go save someone else's life. While I took out my phone and I opened up the most recent text. And I hit reply. I am now, Dad.
I used to be a reality hacker, and no, it's not what you think. I don't have some kind of supernatural or metaphysical powers. I just exploited real life the way that a hacker would exploit electronics or computer systems. Just like a computer hacker wanders the dark web in search of information or restricted corporation systems. I traversed the city looking for shortcuts through infrastructure or in search of things no one else knew about. I don't really like the term, though, even if the parallel I just explained makes sense. I don't understand why they have to be called something stupid like reality hacking. I prefer urban spelunking myself. I think the comparison to actual spelunking is more accurate, and it's a fun word to say. My best friend AJ and I would explore all the little nooks and corners and crannies most people don't even know exist. Drains, abandoned buildings, closed subway tunnels. We hacked things like that. We bent or broke the rules for curiosity's sake, and our own amusement. Do you remember that old bootlegger's hideout that was discovered last year in the city subway system? AJ and I found it while exploring an old tunnel. Of course, we didn't get credit for the find. We couldn't. We weren't supposed to be there in the first place, and sure as hell weren't going to let any authorities know what we were doing. Instead, I told my buddy Jerry, who works for the Public Works Department, about it. He ended up on the local news and got some kind of award for the local historic association. We didn't mind. For us, the thrill was the find. I remember when we first got into the place how excited we were. The place was really dusty. Clear sign that no one had been there for years and years. We found something everyone forgot or never knew existed in the first place. We never found anything like that again. The rush of the unexplored, the thrill of the unknown, kept me exploring all throughout high school and college. AJ and I spent the summer after our freshman year at the community college exploring the city's storm drains. We had a lot of fun doing it. If you don't mind a little humidity and the occasional bad smell, you could get across town without worrying about traffic or pedestrians. Sure, we could always drive like regular people. We both had cars. Both traffic can get pretty bad in our city. A good shortcut could come in handy sometimes. One day in the middle of August, we went to a park across town for a pickup game of football. It was late in the afternoon and traffic was bumper to bumper, so we took a shortcut through one of the drains on our way home. We made good time and cut a few blocks out of our trip. To tell the truth, we were a little smug about our subterranean shortcut. I mean, who else could get across town as quick as we could without awkward hops over fences and through backyards? Most drains are either simple tubes that force you to hunch over as you walk, or they're larger corridors like tunnels with raised ledges for walking. The one we took was a tube, and normally I don't enjoy those, but this one was not very long, so I put up with it. The last rain was weeks ago, and the drain was pretty dry, making an easy go for it. Our footsteps and banter echoed down the circular tunnel, and the cool underground air felt refreshing after the heat. Our route was more or less a straight line that cut through the large hill. It connected the main drain system at a single point, near the entrance by the park, where we played football. So imagine my surprise when we ran across a fork in the drain that we could have sworn wasn't there last time. We stood there looking at it for a long time. Finally, AJ spoke. I didn't know this was here. Me neither, I said. How could we have missed this last time? Now, neither of us were fools. Whenever we explored, we always tried to find out as much as we could about where we went. Also, we always let people know where we were going. We searched the location before physically checking it out, bringing plenty of lights, survival equipment, stuff like that. Urban spelunking can be dangerous. And that's why we didn't just charge headlong down the new tunnel. We did what we always did. We went home and investigated. After getting back to my place, we did some digging on the internet, but the tunnel wasn't on any of the city's maintenance maps or in any public works records we could find. I called my friend Jerry from the city public works department, but he didn't seem to know about it. Now, there's no branching drain off that one, Jerry said. Are you sure you were where you thought you were? Yeah, man, I'm telling you. There's another drain down there, I said. Well, I'm off for the next couple days. Gonna finish up north. You gotta check it out? Yeah, probably this weekend, yeah. All right, I'll tell Bob you'll be down there just in case you get in trouble, Jerry said. And after a few pleasantries, we hung up. Try as we might, neither AJ nor I could find anything out about this tunnel, but we did figure out a few things. First, we were pretty sure it wasn't in use. The city had an older drain system that no longer was in use, and we figured this new one was part of it. We ventured a little way down the new route when we first found it, just to see if it was a tunnel or a room of some kind. AJ noticed that the connection was pretty rough, not smooth like a connected tunnel. Maybe the tube-style tunnels are modular, like PVC pipes.
What the?
They don't cut the drain tubes to make a connection. They use prefab joints. The connection from the main drain seemed like it was cut and then connected to the older one. Another thing that caught my attention was the lack of any kind of moisture. Most drains show at least a little evidence of dampness, even just dried leaves or debris, but this one was dry. That confirmed for us that this drain was part of the old system. We decided to explore it. Before we ventured down the tunnel, we took all our usual precautions, and a few more. We brought materials to map the place, chem lights to mark intersections, a GPS, and we let some friends know what we were going to do, and when we planned to come back. Sure, my backpack was heavier than usual, but better to play things safe considering we planned to venture into an unknown tunnel. It didn't take long for us to get to the access point, and while we walked into the intersection with the new tunnel, I found myself getting excited. I kept thinking back to the bootlegger's hideout that we found. Would we stumble upon something like that again? We might be able to take credit for it this time. That would be something. I was lost in those thoughts of grandeur and didn't realize that AJ had stopped walking. I bumped into him and he swore. Dude, really? He asked in feigned outrage. Sorry, man, I said, shrugging. Be a little more careful when we're going in, AJ said, pointing down the new tunnel. I was apparently so lost in thought that I didn't realize we had arrived. We stopped to check our gear and then made our way in. AJ went first, and I followed. When we started walking, we kept count of the number of steps we took. We knew from experience how many feet 100 paces would take us, what orienteering enthusiasts called a pace count. That helped us construct a fairly accurate map. We knew where the new tunnel branched off of from the old one, how many steps it took us to walk a certain section, and in which cardinal direction each turn led. We could even do this walking hunched over in a cramped space like this one, so even after a few twists and turns, we were still pretty confident of our location despite having walked about an hour. We decided to take a break and check our position, even though we felt pretty sure about our navigation skills. We were making a crude map based on our pace count and compared it to a city public works map. I guesstimated that we were near the slums, probably under Lake Street. We decided to check the first manhole that we found, verifying our position.
All right, I like Thor. Let's go ahead and look at his situation. Oh, where are these losers getting mad at Thor from? Leaves call when asked to take accountability. When asked to take yes, obviously. Okay, so these are the two posts. I guess we'll watch the kill itself, okay? All right, here we go. Let's watch it. All right, give me 1 second. I want to make sure I pause the music so we can actually hear this. Okay, so here we go, and we're gonna watch it. All right, so we got the rogue, and you got the mage in the back.
Yeah, well, I got shield wall. God
Run,
damn
run,
it.
run, run, run,
Just
run.
run. Can you target dummy?
So
I can target dummy.
who
Should I do
like?
it?
Just kill the massive. Yeah, target dummy.
So
kill the
I don't
mastiffs.
understand.
Aussie, are you fine?
Did somebody do something?
Any
wrong?
grenades?
I
Anything?
got last stand.
Did so?
Heal him, heal him, heal him, heal him.
What?
Yeah,
You
just
shouldn't
heal
have
me,
done.
just come back a little
You're
bit.
gonna have a bad
So me
day, aren't
sitting
you?
bear form.
Snuppy, just run.
I can help lot.
Snuppy?
Yeah, yeah.
About
yeah,
to
yeah.
get snubbed
Pirate,
out.
why are you walking, bro?
About to get snubbed out.
What are you talking about? Why am
This
I
is
walking? Look at my
savage,
mana.
but come on, man.
Innervate you.
Just kill the mastiffs.
Innervate.
Use
Innervate
Nova,
the
bro.
healer,
Come on.
Kill the mastiffs. We got
Big
this.
heals.
In the sense of
War something. War some
Do
now.
you see my mana? What am I supposed to do for you?
Just kill the mastiffs. One shot. Okay, we
More
can
than on the way. More on the way.
Now. The mastiffs can be ice novas.
Dead.
Now we're gonna wait.
Nusara.
No.
Oh, okay. All right. We gotta watch the rest of it.
Dead.
Okay, here we
Now
go.
we're gonna wait.
Nusara.
No.
So Sara dead.
Okay, get out, get out.
Run.
Evocation's on cooldown, man.
I can taunt last.
How much mana is
moment
Ice
as
Nova?
well.
There's no that much mana.
You have a boss in you. You called
Getting
run.
slowed.
I ran.
Fuck. Wait.
Anything
I
for
can-
me?
Snuppy.
I don't
no.
think I cannot stun him. Aussie, are you good?
No, just run.
Is this who I think it is?
Oh my god.
I've watched this guy die in hardcore so many times. I don't know how it happens. And so anyway, what's this here?
Run out.
Okay, well somehow
Aussie?
I think he actually survived. Ozzy somehow survived. Wow. Okay, so
The boss came.
okay, so let's
after,
watch
like,
it a little
the
bit more.
Masters too,
Context
after
if it's
the,
possible. Yeah, sure. So let's look at how this clip happened. Okay, here we go.
So when the spring comes by, they're not consuming a whole bunch of resources. It's
What's that?
very common.
Yeah, why?
It's the same thing that happens in the wild. You have animals that will die during that time period, and it's so
Okay.
that when the spring comes by, they're not consuming a whole bunch of resources. It's a normal thing.
I see.
People, it's the same for humans too. Yes,
Yeah.
Nice.
it's kind of sad, but that is what it is.
Yeah.
Cycle of life, man.
Now, there's a whale fell. If you, that's the best example of that Thor's talking about.
Have you seen the guy that's trying to actively reduce his age?
I know. He's
Brian
oh, that's
Johnson.
crazy. I've seen this.
We
Dude.
got two,
Brian
so just
Johnson.
focus
Yeah, I
this.
like Brian.
Boss is coming too. Watch out.
Yeah. Well, I got you. Walt.
Bro, look at this loser. It's probably one of my viewers too. This guy's in his chat. He's going, I see why you suck at league targeting. You can't even press a stationary button properly. The Roach Prince. Bro, you got these little these little cock boys sitting around starting trouble. That's it.
God
Run,
damn it.
run,
Just
run.
run.
Okay,
Keep targeting dummy.
so
I can target dummy. Yeah. Should I do it?
Just kill the mastiffs. Yeah, target dummy. Kill the mastiffs.
No.
Aussie, are you fine? Any grenades?
I
Anything?
got last stand.
Heal him.
Yeah, you just heal me. Just come back a little bit.
Boss is on me. Sitting bear form.
Snuppy, just run.
I can help lot. Yeah.
Pirate, why are you walking, bro?
What are you talking about? Why am
This
I
is
walking? Look at my mana.
savage, but come on, man.
Innervate you.
Kill the.
if it was salvageable, you shouldn't have called to run. Like, I mean, I'm going to be honest. You shouldn't have called to run if you thought it was salvageable. So, like, if you go and you say run, he's going to run. And so he used 2 blinks. He turned around. He fucking, look at this
Aussie,
right
are you
here.
fine?
He didn't need to do this. He did this. That's a fucking blizzard. You can see that.
Any grenades?
Because
Anything?
there's a
Last stand?
blizzard. So,
Heal him.
Yeah, you just
and
heal
then
me.
he
Just
turned
come
around to blink,
back a little bit.
obviously, so he
Sitting
could
bear
get
form.
away. Now, Snuppy here, this was a bad situation to begin with, right? But he was got. If they committed to the run instead of egoing the kills, people wouldn't have died? No. The mistake was made before the pull happened. Thor wasn't even at, he was at 60, 70% mana before the pull even started. And also, he is out of mana. He's a mage. He said he didn't have Evocate. Assuming he didn't have a potion, there's nothing he could have done to change the outcome of this at all. Thor was too busy yapping. They weren't locked in. Thor's not doing the pulls. They're doing the pulls. That's it. He could have Nova'd. He could have Nova'd. You're right. He could have Nova'd. He didn't Nova. They called to run. He turned around and he ran. He did a blizzard. Is there something that Thor could have done that may have increased the probability of this person dying? You know what's really funny? Is this mob immune to Nova? Because I bet it is. Because it's a boss, and bosses usually can't be rooted. It is. So it's immune to Nova. Okay, so I guess not. Wow. Wow. So, okay, that's good. Look at his POV as well. If you want to link it to me, you can link it to me. That's fine. Thor wasn't yapping. I watched that stream. Well, yeah, he was yapping. They were all yapping. It's a fucking stream. That's what you do on a stream is you yap. That's what you do. So somebody said, so it's Thor's fault for talking about wildlife, but it's not the other person's fault for talking about Brian Johnson? What's the logic here? They shouldn't have pulled when people weren't full mana with a pull area that's as risky as this. It was a mistake to have done this pull. It was a mistake to have run away. Everything about it was a fucking mistake. That's it. They could have pulled back. But if somebody, I'm going to tell you, this is where I'm at. If somebody calls run, I mean, what I hear is get the fuck out of here. Hearth out, roach out, get the fuck out. Run means run. It doesn't mean retreat. It doesn't mean let's kite back. It doesn't mean, wait a minute, let's see if we can recover this, or run back, hold up, wait a minute. It means wait, run away as much as you can. They didn't fully commit to running. They didn't. They couldn't have. This guy was dead, bro. He was dead. They might have been able to do something a little more. Yeah, you're right. They could have done something more. And this is the thing with Hardcore WoW. People fumble footballs in the Super Bowl. I was watching a game, and this was on, I think it was fucking Christmas. And there was this guy, and he played for fucking UT, University of Texas, and he missed 2 out of 3 field goals. Holy shit, man. Are you kidding me? You just have to kick the ball. But you know what? It's so easy for me to say that eating chips off of my stomach. Oh, wow, what a fucking idiot.
Yeah. You know, essentially from everything I've heard so far, it's like, in terms of the Thor situation, first of all, is blown so far out of proportion. Like, here's the thing. There is actually some pretty strong debate about whether or not Thor did something wrong in that Dire Maul raid. You really could strongly debate it. But here's my issue, is that since there is a point of contention about whether or not there's, like, fault on anybody, you can't pin the blame on one person. And that is what everybody is doing. And because they're all pinning the blame on Thor, they're not, they're not really... Okay. I think I totally messed up that wording. Basically what I'm trying to get at is, like, because there's, like, a lot of, like they're solely pinning the blame on Thor for that happening, like, everybody's like, oh, if Thor did this, then then these guys would have survived. And like that's possibly true, but and even Soda Poppin said this in his video, is like, you can look at this from like a hindsight's perspective and be like, oh yeah, maybe if he did this, maybe if he did that. But that's not necessarily what everybody's doing. Everybody is being like, these guys died because of Pirate Software. And I even heard people say Pirate Software killed these characters, which is, first of all, just totally bonkers and just untrue, totally out of context, and is just completely made in bad faith. But I've heard a lot of that, and I've also heard a lot of folks saying that because they genuinely believe he was in the wrong, him not admitting he was wrong warrants things like death threats, which is what's happening. And I honestly, and that's the point where I just don't necessarily care what side you're on or what side you believe. It is wrong. It is wrong, especially when it revolves around a video game, to start making false claims about someone being a felon, false claims about someone abusing ferrets in their ferret rescue, or just animals in general. It is wrong to make death threats to Thor, to other players that he plays with, to his mods, to anybody in that situation. It is wrong and scummy, and that's the point where I'm just like, okay, you know what? At this point, Thor doesn't need to apologize for anything, because one, it's still strongly debated about whether or not he actually genuinely like caused that, which I mean, I don't think he did. And two, why would you apologize to someone who's making those threats to you? This doesn't make sense. So, like, that opinion just doesn't matter to me anymore, and I could, like, people seem to be getting on his ass about having like a discussion video with Asmon, even though Asmongold's kind of, I mean, I personally don't really like Asmongold, just personally. I never really have. I obviously disagree with a lot with a bunch of the stuff that he says. But the thing is, we can't close discussions with those kind of people, like with people like Asmongold. You can't close discussions. Otherwise, you're not changing minds. You're kind of just cementing them in their place. And I definitely consider myself like a left-leaning centrist. And I, totally on, I mean, with that being said, I was definitely more left-leaning this election, but the point is, it doesn't mean you close yourself to discussion. So I mean, Soda Poppin is saying that, I forget who he said, but there's this WoW runner, I guess a hardcore WoW runner that basically is a mage, who is basically saying Thor did something wrong, and and Asmongold, who's definitely been a WoW player for a long time, says he didn't do anything wrong. And so it's like, well, if that's the case, like both of these guys are highly credited. So kind of who do you go with here? And I'm kind of just on the side of that everything that like nearly everything on the internet is blown out of proportion in a lot of ways. So it's really not that big of a deal. First of all, Thor said in a tweet that, you know, that yes, other people made mistakes, but he admitted to making mistakes too. And it's just, I don't know, people are whining and crying about it, and it's just dumb. It's stupid. It is dumb and stupid. And, yeah. People making these threats and shit is not okay. And it is because of streamers like nobody is genuinely calling for this stuff, but because they're kind of calling out behavior that isn't necessarily like warrantedly considered bad, people are going on the war path for like no reason. So I'm just against everything that's going on against Thor right now. I literally could not confirm or deny if he did anything wrong. So and there are multiple WoW players saying he did, multiple WoW players saying he didn't. But one thing I know is wrong is all these death threats and whatnot, and the canceling and all that. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. That doesn't look too bad. I got that out of the way. Kind of need to wait. Yeah, kind of need to do more forestry. Maybe like a big patch of bush here up until like I don't know, maybe up until like this point. And then we do trees again. But yeah. Yeah, and Thor doesn't have VODs from like yesterday. I don't think he's even streamed today. He didn't stream on Monday. So he might be waiting for some things to blow over, but it's just bonkers. Bonkers. Oh, and it's kind of a rare Destiny L. He talked about it today too, and I listened to a little bit of what he had to say. For some reason he kept going on about how like he like felt vindicated because he felt like something was off about Thor. I was like, where is that coming from? So that's kind of a Destiny L, in my opinion. We put more trees here. Maybe. Maybe. I'll debate that next time. I'll have to build this building too. Okay. I'm done for now. Shorter stream today. Kind of tired and I kind of want to relax a little bit. But hey, I did my goal. Even if it was for the wrong date. I made this like I made it a week ago. About a week ago. But we opened CK and we placed more trees. Do I keep track of this? Do I keep track of the year? I keep it in like a journal or something? I don't know. We're gonna go raid. I'm gonna figure out this thing, but we're gonna go raid. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna raid Nicole Belafonte. She's obviously being classic and playing fun music. Oh, and she has a cat. So yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna raid Nicole. Oh, we can't do it anymore. That's right, I forgot. Well, screw it. Just go give her... Just go hang out with her anyway. Alright, thanks for chilling with me, and I'll see y'all later.